Alright, I'm back at the garage. Today, I'm going to continue working on these pieces. So all I need to do before I can wrap an upholstery is sand them and then coat them with epoxy to make them waterproof. So right now I'm using 180 grit, just going on the corners here. The reason I'm doing that is for whenever I pull the upholstery over, it won't rip on these sharp corners. I'm also just kind of sanding down any screw holes that have little burrs. And once I'm done with sanding this, these pieces are all finished. I'll get the epoxy out. It's a 1-for-1 mix ratio. So I'll get some of that mixed up, roll it on with a paint roller, and get all these boards waterproofed. Are all finished. I'm going to end up coating the backside first with epoxy. Over here is a little station I have set up. I'm using this Promise epoxy, an Amazon brand that is supposed to be pretty good. It's not as good as Total Boat's epoxy that they have to offer, but a lot cheaper. So that's what I'm rolling with here. I'm going to mix up 16 ounces of this all together and coat these pretty heavily to make sure that no water seeps in. Now we'll take this makeshift paint pan and get the rolling. So this is what it turned out to look like. It's not completely smooth, but with the vinyl upholstery I'll be using, it's going to be thick enough to not even be able to tell. So as long as this keeps water out, I'll be happy. Now I just need to do the last few pieces. I started to do this one with extra epoxy, but these are the backrest to the seat that go in the very back, right in that area. So I'm going to do those 4, and then I'll pick back up at a later time. Today I'm at the shop at the place I work at. We got the boat outside, and I'm going to start doing some more cosmetic work. So right here are the 2 pieces that I have created to cover up a bunch of holes on the side. And The reason I'm doing that is because I don't want to finish the fiberglass patches. Now, it's pretty ironic because I'm going to have to drill some more holes into the side parts of the boat, what I've been patching, just so that I can attach these. I know, I'm kind of kicking myself in the butt for doing all that extra work, but it is what it is. This is going to look a lot cooler when it's all done, so I'm going this route anyway. But I'll get in the boat and kind of explain what I'm going to do and then go from there. So this is the luxury vinyl that I'll be using to put on the sides of my boat. And you can see on the top here, I had attached this piece of welt. That'll complete the final look, going the entire way across the top of everything. And the reason I'm putting this here is to match the same color of the seats that I'll be putting there, on this bench, and for the captain chair. I think it'll just tie things together really nicely. Now, the one thing I haven't decided yet is what color I'm going to use. Right now I have 3 options. So we have option 1, 2, and 3, along with my boat flooring. So that will be going on the inside here on the ground. I just need to decide which color I like the best. I think I'm leaning towards either 1 or 2, but I still need to decide. But for right now, I'm going to start with attaching this piece. And the way I'm going to attach it is with this hardware that I found on Amazon. So all I have to do to make this piece removable without putting holes through the vinyl is to use this piece right here. Now, what's nice about this is I'll be able to put this on before I put the upholstery on. That'll make it all covered up. You won't see a single screw head, but it'll give me the option to make this removable if I ever need to take it off. So by doing this and using this hardware, all I have to do is take a 1/4-inch drill bit, go through the plywood into my beautifully patched fiberglass, make some more holes for the next person to possibly patch. And once these are all through the fiberglass, like so, I'll go on the back side here and put nuts onto the bolts. I'll have a washer, and the nuts are lock nuts, so they will stay in place. But I'm gonna go ahead, get the holes drilled for this side, same thing for this side, and then I'll go inside the shop and start wrapping this in the upholstery. Man, I cannot believe I just drilled all those holes into my work. Oh boy. I better not screw this one up because I might just burn the boat if that happens. Now, one thing to note before I go any further is there's a bunch of wires running behind here. So I'm going to take a scrap piece of wood and put it on the other side of the drill bit. And just like that, I have more holes in my boat. Okay, so the next step for this piece is going to be to put these bolts in. And whenever I put them in, I'm going to take a washer, put that washer onto the other side along with the lock nut, and I'm going to screw this down. That'll pull the square part of this bolt into the wood along with those 2 prongs, and it'll be permanently there once I do that. And one other thing before I put this in, I'm gonna go ahead and fill my holes with silicone. That way no water gets behind and gets into that wood that way. Since everything else is waterproof, I want to make sure that the inside is also waterproof. So I'm not sure what the best way to do this is yet. I'm sure after like 20 holes I'll figure that out. But for now, I'll take this, put my bolt through, wipe off the excess on this side, washer, nut, and screw it on there. Cool. I got some good silicone squeeze out around the bolt head, so that's exactly what I would like to see. And I just got to repeat that about 50 more times. Well, that was way messier than I thought it was going to be. I'm going to try to maybe do something different for the second one. But aside from that, everything is now mounted, siliconed in, so no water is getting into the bolt holes. And I'm going to move on to the next one. All right, so these pieces are all finished. And now I got the upholstery laid out on the table. So I'm going to go ahead, place these on there, cut out the material that I need, and then I'll start wrapping them. So I got the pieces laid out on the material. Now I'm gonna go ahead, cut about a 2-inch border around each piece so I have something to grab whenever I go and pull it up around. And once I get the pieces of material cut out, I'll go ahead, flip the wood over, spray it with glue on both sides, let that dry for 4 or 5 minutes, let it get nice and tacky. I'll go ahead, place it on top of the material. I went and traced the entire piece with Sharpie, so I'll be able to put it in the same exact spot of where it's at now. Now, the reason that's important is because with these stitch lines, I made the top piece of each board follow right where the mid section of the diamond is, so it'll look uniform the entire way down the piece whenever it's finished and wrapped. But I'll start with cutting this, then I'll go ahead and glue it. So this still has another minute or two to dry, but while it's drying, I want to explain how I'm going to go ahead and wrap these pieces. Now, I wrap pieces like this every single day for the limousines that we build here at the shop. And the most important thing is pulling the material tight along with cutting relief cuts so that you don't have bunching in one area. For example, if I don't cut a relief cut right here in the material to go for this part, you'll see kind of like waves in the material. So whenever I go to do this, for example, I'll start with this piece. I'm going to cut tails, and this will make sure that whenever I pull it around this piece, you don't see where I actually cut the material. If I were to just cut a 90 here and there, you could see the line right up here in the middle. But since I'm cutting a tail right here, it'll wrap around the piece, and then I'll pull side A, side B, tight enough to where you won't see any lines of where I cut it. You'll only be able to see it on the back side. But that doesn't matter, obviously, because it's already wrapped. So, coming down here, I'll do a tail right here, a tail here, maybe a relief cut here and here. For this side right here, I'll do a cut here, 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 right there. But whenever I make these cuts, a very important thing that I need to keep in mind is I cannot go the entire way to that line. I have to stay at least a ½ inch back the thickness of this material. So when I cut my lines, it'll come to like right about here, it'll stop, and then whenever I pull it up, you won't be able to see those cut lines on the edge of this either. But it's the same process the entire way down. There's not too much else special about this. The hardest part is definitely going to be lining up the edge of my piece on this Sharpie line, but these pieces are dry enough now, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. One down, one to go. Okay, time for the fun part. I'm also using 3/8 inch by 3/8 inch staples. That way it doesn't go through the plywood, but it still has a great grab. All right, let's see how this first piece turned out. Oh yeah. That is super clean. And then once I put the gray welt on top, it's just gonna complete the entire piece. So now I got one more, I'll get that done, and then I'll probably be done for the night. Gonna change it up and get you guys a different point of view. Okay, second piece is done. I'm gonna put it in the boat and let's go see how it looks. This was the vision, and here is the end result. So far, I think it looks great. I'm gonna continue to run the diamond vinyl along here, this side, back to here, and that'll kind of complete that section. And then 1, 2, and 3 will be seats that all get wrapped in gray upholstery. I'm not exactly sure if I'm gonna do this in gray. It's kind of back and forth, 50-50 with black or gray, but I think gray's gonna look better. So yeah, that's where we're at for tonight, and I will pick this up at a different time.